Hello my dear friends, this is Metro, your English tutor. In this short lesson, I want to draw your attention to a very interesting, real, authentic example of IELTS writing 2, meaning independent essay, and I want to show you, from my perspective, how not to write your IELTS essay. I know that my opinion in this case contradicts probably the opinion of the majority of tutors, courses. I don't care, because I have seen too many, a piece of evidence to support really my opinion. And so this is an example written by one girl from India who asked me to analyze it, to scrutinize and help her understand why she cannot get more than 5.5, sometimes 6 for her IELTS writing, and she needed minimum 7. So I want to show you. I think that she was lucky to get 5.5 or 6 for this gibberish, because it's really, So I don't know why, dear friends, but in just a second I will fix this I don't know why, but if we take Duolingo, IELTS, TOEFL, it is in IELTS preparation that a lot of guys, tutors, courses, and so on and so experts, are infected with this virus of empty filling, of filling their essays with those empty, cliched, stupid patterns. I don't know why. I'm sure IELTS, the administration of IELTS and IELTS guys, don't have to do anything with that. They don't like it. I don't know why, because I've tutored a lot of guys for different tests, and especially if a student comes from his or her IELTS background, really they are infected with this stupidity. So let me elaborate. Let's read the question. Some people think that the government should provide free healthcare for all citizens. Do you agree or disagree? A classic example, nothing special. This question is so beaten in all tests that of course we should realize that within the last 30 years there have been a lot of patterns amassed, to write this thing without thinking, you see. But there is a problem, my friend. When I, as a grader, scrutinize this idiocy, I clearly see your borrowed material, this empty space filler, and your own authentic material. And if, as it is in this case, the proportion of filler and your authentic writing is 90 to 10%, or even more, like 95 to 5, and those 5% are wrong, grammatically wrong, you understand that if I give you 5.5, you are very, very lucky, because in theory I should give you 4 for this. Let me show you. So, the goal is writing, I will highlight where I am sure it's a borrowed BS, as they say, so borrowed nonsense. In recent years, a considerable number of individuals believed that the state should provide free healthcare for public. All this string is learned by rote. You may say that, of course, so collocations and phrases are good. I understand, my friends, but collocations mean usually 2 words, sometimes 3. Better 2, not to let anybody suspect you of some plagiarism, something like that. 2 or 3, but not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe 10, 11, but I don't want to continue here. So you see, this intro is so, old, beaten, boring, and stupid that I always try to dissuade my students from writing this nonsense, because it stinks, it ranks. Can you imagine a grader who is sitting in their office for the whole day and reading 40 or 50 such things a day? What will go on in their cerebrum, in their mentality? They are sick and tired of this thing. So don't write like this, my friend. Why can't you write like some guys think that at least you will stand out from the crowd? You may say, oh, guys are not very, it's like a colloquial. I understand, not obligatory guys. You may say, just some people think that it's okay, it's enough. Don't fill the space with this trash. Also, believed. Why believed, not believe? Because why in recent years? So I would have written believe, because if I write believed, it means what? Are those guys already dead who believed? in recent years. I don't understand. Okay, that the state should provide free healthcare for public. She tried to change the question, but a little bit failed. Like she changed only citizens with public. Okay, better something than nothing. Okay. I strongly agree with this opinion. You understand? Because this approach significantly reduced. You see, and this approach significantly is a borrowed. I want to say shit, my friends, but okay, we have a like educational video, but let's substitute shit with I say nonsense, gibberish, trash. Okay, let's call it trash. This empty trash, then reduce with a mistake, because once approach reduces, you see, the grader clearly sees that this is the boundary where there is a separation between trash and your own comes in with a mistake. Basic grammar mistake, he, she, it, you know that we should add ending s. If you have several mistakes in this ending s, you may not get more than 5.5 because you are illiterate, you see. How can on earth any expert or grader give you more than 5 if you are illiterate? You cannot write he reduces, she reduces, it reduces. It's nonsense, you see. Okay, significantly reduces people's expenses, okay, comma, and it is highly beneficial, again, borrowed, for the impoverished community. I understand that in India, of course, this question of financial, success and independence is very like flagrantly powerful, because, it's a problem for many people, money, and I think that they have such phrases, highly beneficial for the impoverished community. They have them ready for thousands types of essays and questions. So of course, and so it's learned, but okay. One major reason is that, so learned, but okay, it can drastically reduce people's daily expenses. Learned, significantly reduce, drastically reduce. Yeah, she tries to show significant and drastically, but reduces the same. If you put, so again, it's learned. Many individuals spend, learned, a large amount of money, okay, for, you see, not for on. Again, the grader clearly sees where you start writing off the top of your head. On their medical treatment in private medical sectors. Okay, but why sectors, not sector? Not a big deal, but I don't understand. Usually we have a private medical sector in the country and state government medical sector, so I don't understand why sectors. For example, hospitals such as charges. Why charges? If you write hospitals, so the idea is, okay, charge, good word, not learned, maybe like, not a cliche, but and then we have again a mistake in the ending s. So this ending is wrong. A higher cost for is okay, minor treatment, so medical tests, all right. Therefore, if government provide, usually, my friends, usually, to avoid any risk, write please after government or police provides, does, because usually it is conceived of as a single entity. Usually, not always, but usually. If you do want to split this entity into individual items, into individual people, then you should help the reader understand why you're doing so. You see, we do everything for the reader, everything. It's writing. Our mission here is to help the reader feel good. If you don't help the reader feel good, you are not a powerful writer, and you should not have a good score at your IELTS, Duolingo, TOEFL, all that jazz. So she provides free healthcare facilities to citizens. Okay, it can allow them to save their expenses. Save their expenses, I don't agree, because we usually save money, yeah, or assets, but not expenses. Yeah, I understand that it means that, like, to reduce their expenses, to minimize, to decrease, something like that. To diminish. No. Okay. On the flip side is wrong, my friends, because on the flip side usually means, on the other hand, with a shade of negativity, with a shade of contradiction to the previous statement, but this does not contradict the previous sentence, you see. So not on the flip side, like furthermore, something like that. Free medical facilities are highly beneficial for impoverished community, you see. Borrowed, because we have seen this impoverished community. The people who are under the poverty line, learned one, cannot afford better healthcare facilities. Okay, facilities. They often visit rural hospitals, okay, rather than a private hospital. You see, where she tries to put something from her own head she has problems, because why here hospitals and here a private hospital? Not a big deal, but again, it's a incongruence, it's wrong. This is because, again, this transition after comma, this is a colloquial one, speaking one, it's not a writing one, so it's a mistake. People who earn a negligible income, no comma here, do not encourage, wrong, because why? People do not encourage. Whom don't they encourage? Yeah? To visit high-end medical sectors. Again, learn this medical sectors. As a result, free healthcare can be beneficial for this community. Idiocy, because this learned crammed as a result, yeah, and there is no result here from these sentences, you see. On the flip side, as a result, smells of something like bad, you see, to put it into simple word, bad, negative, but here everything's positive. No, I mean, put the idea, because the free healthcare can be beneficial for this community. In conclusion, okay, free healthcare not only reduces, you see, free healthcare reduces, again, the third mistake in he, she, it, ending s. People's daily expenses, but also it is beneficial for the impoverished community. Again, this one. I agree with this opinion. With what opinion? With this, but with this or with this. Why do you agree with your own opinion? It's your opinion here, you see, because you don't state that some people think it. So you agree or disagree with your own opinion. Smells of schizophrenia. I agree with this opinion, comma, wrong transition. Government should provide free healthcare. Oh my god, you see, friends, that's why I tell you I don't like this style, you know, and I'm sure the graders don't like it either. They're people, you know, human beings. Can you believe how repulsive it is to look, maybe not for the whole day, but you know, 20 times a day at this bull? It's don't write like this. Write off the top of your head. You will get more. Of course, not necessarily, because you know, if you write again he, she, it, yeah, but they will not give you more than 5.5 for this space filler, even if you're lucky. Yeah, but if you're not so lucky and the grader is angry, you will get 4 or 5 or 5 for this, depending on your graph description or something like that. Of course, it's a combination. They see, they check, like, you know, they see the whole picture. Of course, if you have the corresponding you know, congruent graph description, again with only those space fillers, you will get 5 for this, not more. If you want a 7.5, write off the top of your head. Learn how to write properly. Find a decent tutor and spend some money on him or her, but at least I'm sure only a tutor can help you. I mean, courses, you know, where you have a lot of guys, yes, it's okay, it's better than nothing, but only individual tutor or coach can help you, you know, because it is so in the world for hundreds of years. Nothing is new under the sun. A group training, so group training is never as effective or as individual training. It's a given. So yeah, so find a decent tutor. You know, at the moment I'm creating my IELTS video course for yourself preparation called IELTS in a Canter. I have written already the section about writing essays, so if you feel interested, contact me if you want to purchase this 15 lessons about this writing. And also, if you need a tutor to help you, please write to me. You know, I will help you. I will help you learn to write as a human being, you know, not as this perverted picture, you know, I don't know, imposed by the guys, by some tutors or courses. I think they don't realize what they're doing. Yeah, it's okay, because not all people are very self-reflexive, something like that. Okay, dear friends, if you want assistance, write to me, and see you in our next lesson.